Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome back. My name's Ubershark, and we got some more Forza Motorsport GT3 racing. We are still in the McLaren 720S. I've been really enjoying it. It's got a tune on it. I will try to find it and leave it in the description because it's been working pretty well for me, so I want to shout whoever made it out. We're at Grand Oak for a medium length race again. Starting towards the back of the grid, it didn't qualify. I think I'm starting to finally get to the level of confidence where I might start qualifying. Because, I mean, as fun as this is, I think I have a chance of maybe podiuming some races if I didn't have to drive through all this wreckage. Although it is quite entertaining, and it's quite an ego boost to just pass 7 people on lap 1. It makes you feel like you did something, but... we're up to 13th, and we're at Grand Oak. I feel like you don't see Grand Oak very often in the Forza GT playlist. Maybe it's been popping up and I've been missing it, but I feel like I've never seen it. I used to really love this track. It was one of the main tracks in, I guess, the intro series. If you haven't done that one, that's one of my favorite series to go back to. It's supposed to just be for people to learn the game and how to, get a safety rating and whatnot, but it's actually a really fun series because it's, everyone's got the Honda Civic, and it just kind of jumps between a couple of tracks. So it's really fast and fun. So seeing Grand Oak come into the Forza GT series, I mean, it's a blast. So much speed, and sometimes it feels like just I guess a sport of whose balls are bigger, Who can take the most speed on the outside, who's willing to not hit the brakes, because some of these turns, I mean, that sucks, but some of these turns you can really just send it and recover, and I mean, it's a great track. It's easy to race on, but it's one of those tracks where if you want to be like the top guy, you gotta have really, really perfect pace. And I don't think I've found that yet. I'm still figuring it out, but it's just so fun in these GT3 cars. We've jumped up to 9th place, and this McLaren, I've talked about in the past, doesn't have the best straight line speed, but it seems to do wonderful at Grand Oak. And I don't know if that's because every single straight winds in a pretty, I guess, technical turn. It's not like a tight chicane or anything, but like you gotta know how much speed to bring through to really be fast. And we're gonna get a pretty cool double overtake here. Both that Ferrari and the Cadillac got right up to each other, and they bumped each other just enough for me to just zip on by. So now we're in 7th. We're gonna go off here by accident, and luckily get no penalty, and the Cadillac catches up, but we cover in a way where he can't get back on or get by. So maybe I guess I joined a little unsafe, but we're looking good at the moment. Although first place is now 12.5 seconds ahead of us, you can really see the difference in starting in front. He's probably got a much faster pace than I do anyways, but that's quite a large window. Just looking at the map, how big of a gap it is from me and the cars out front. You can see what cars have been stuck in wrecks and which ones haven't. But now we're chasing down a Lamborghini, and the Lamborghinis in the GT3 series, I want to start using them because they're kind of tricky. At least I find them tricky. I could be, just bad at the game, but they're so fast in a straight line, and they seem to be pretty decent at cornering. I feel that they're unstable if you take it too fast around a turn, right? Like it just wants to shake and kill you. So like you can master it, you're fast, but you'll see a lot of variety of drivers in the Lambos. They're either insane or they're like the easiest car to overtake in the world. And this is one of those examples of one of the guys that he definitely has pace, but the Lambo is just probably a little too unforgiving. Like, I mean, he got by me again, but you can kind of see the struggle. And some of these turns, I'm just able to carry way more speed than he is. But it's a good car. I'm thinking in the future I'm going to start using the Lambo. Just, give it a couple tries. Although I did try it a couple of times, and almost every single time I wound up with like 4 seconds of penalties and usually losing positions, but it looks like a pretty promising car. Now this bend here seems to be the McLaren's best corner compared to a lot of these cars. It just has so much grip. You can just fling it around that turn. As long as you don't, put your foot on the gas too early. This was so dirty by him. He did that on purpose for sure. I had that overtake done, and you can see him move way outside just to try to like force me off the track. Luckily, didn't get a penalty for the collision, nor did I get one for track limits, because it was his fault. He didn't let me get on the track as I was overtaking him. But now he's right on my butt, and we know he has quite a bit of pace, and some of these turns he definitely has a better line than I do. But I always think that if I get an overtake done, give it a couple corners, they're gonna fight you a bit. Definitely in Forza, nobody likes being overtaken. You can kind of see he's looking up the inside. He wants to get the position back. But if you can just keep it for a couple of turns as he loses a bit, and just allow the pressure to get to them, you'll tend to pull away. Which was, exactly what happened there. I'm just trying to drive as clean as I can, as consistent as I can, without, I guess, opening doors for him to just, kamikaze into me. And just that pressure by itself will usually be enough for someone to just either take themselves out or almost lose pace because they're trying too hard, overdriving the car. But now we got a tougher battle in front of us. We have 5 seconds to really make up to the guy in front, which is definitely not going to be easy. If you look at the map, he's quite far ahead. Quite far behind from the groups ahead. So he clearly lacks the pace of those front-running cars, but he's still, fast enough where the rest of us guys haven't really even had a chance to catch up. So it won't be easy to catch up, but as long as we're consistent and I guess find more and more time as we go, we'll be okay. And that turn right there felt like a very hit or miss turn for myself. Right there it felt fine, but there are some times where I'm like, I took no speed in it and I don't think I could have gone any faster. And then there's times where I was a rocket ship through there, and it felt like I couldn't be super consistent there. This turn I always felt amazing at. That turn was the McLaren's best turn. This one, and then, well, that was an easy overtake right there. You gotta love when cars in front accidentally take themselves out and you can just scoot on through. So now we even have a tougher battle. We got 16 seconds to the group of cars ahead, 1, 2, and 3, with the Lamborghini behind us in 5th, about 3 seconds behind. But if we're lucky, that other car that spun out will give them a little bit of a hard time, and we'll be able to pull away a bit. Now, this is one of those times where I felt like I carried no speed through it, but I don't know, it was faster. I don't know. It was a weird turn. I'm hoping the more I play Grand Oak with these cars, I'll start to get the hang of it, because I've mostly raced this track in the Civics or the touring cars or even the Formula Mazdas. I used to race the Formula Mazdas and the Formula Mazdas alone. They were my favorite. Took that turn pretty poorly. I think I was just getting a little lazy. I put my foot on the gas so early for no reason. But you can see we've had a change in positions for 5th place. That Lamborghini was caught by somebody, and that was not the guy that spun out before. So we have someone else with pretty good pace. He's still quite a while behind, and he's got the Lambo on him. And again, hopefully their little battle slows him down, because I don't think a podium is possible. Right now it looks pretty possible, but the only reason it looks possible is because the existing 3rd place or 2nd place pit. So when we pit, we're probably, no matter what, going to come out in 4th, as long as we're consistent and don't make any mistakes. Or we can make some mistakes, but nothing too grand. But it's lap 8, and I've been kind of happy with the double medium strategy, and right there, just I'm unhappy with the way that the tires are feeling. I'm like, you know, you probably could get away with getting to lap 10 on these tires and going the softs, but I really just don't like how those felt, and I was losing a lot of time. I was like, let's just commit to pitting now, get some fresh mediums on, and hopefully everybody else tries a little too hard to keep their cars out there, and we could get some, I guess, just a good position due to strategy alone. Now, as we leave the pits here, it's not looking too pretty. We dropped back quite a bit of in the pack. We're looking at 13th at the moment, and we are quite a ways back from 12th. But although it might seem like it's a bad thing, this is actually probably ideal for us. Being put out on our new tires to open air, we're able to just kind of work alone and warm the tires up, find the levels of grip, and hopefully when everyone else is pit, we'll have our tires nice and ready to do some fighting. Again, that was another one of those turns where I was just like, what am I doing? How am I going so slow? But I don't know if it was going slow or if it was just perceived being slow because I was staying in 4th gear. I don't know. But you can already tell we're making up quite a bit of time to 12th place. Granted, he hasn't pit and he's in 12th place for a reason, but we're finding quite a bit of pace on these new medium tires. And we're about to get, I think, 2, maybe 3 free positions due to people in the pits. Jump up to 11th, up to 9th now. The Lamborghini is exiting the pits, so we're in 8th place now, and we know that Lamborghini was one of the guys behind us, and he's quite a few seconds behind. So hopefully the guy he was battling is around the same, and he's maybe trying to undercut him, but we'll see. Only 5 seconds to 8th place too. We're looking pretty good. If we can even catch up to him, just to catch a slipstream, we're looking amazing. Coming around the last turn here, gaining so much time on 8th place. We should see quite a few people pit here. I think for the most part everybody pit this race except one person. There is one person that decided to go hards, I think the whole race, and it wound up working pretty well for them. You can see him in 4th place. He's got quite a few penalties, and you've seen his name pop up. He's been cutting the track quite a bit, but I mean, he's on hard, so it's not easy. And I've tried doing the one pit strategies. They're okay, but for the most part, you wind up making more mistakes than losing time than you would get if you just pit. Like, let's be real. At the end of this race, we're gonna get pretty close to him. If there was 1 or 2 more laps, I think he goes from his 4th place position to probably like 10th. You just lose too much time on this hard, so he's gonna try to send it with the one-stop strategy, and if I can't be consistent and, you know, catch up to him, he's gonna just win by default. But that's kind of the beauty of having strategy in these races. There isn't one true meta. You can make the hards last as a whole. You can try, you know, doing triple softs. But as we begin lap 12, we haven't gained too much time on him, and honestly, as the race was going on, I was thinking to myself, there's no way he's gonna make those tires last. 16 laps on hards, they gotta be orange by at least now. I mean, the mediums were pretty cooked by, they weren't cooked, but they would have been cooked by lap 10. I can't imagine them being much better here. But he didn't pit. I was kind of trying to play cautious because I didn't want to lose time and gain penalties. In my eyes, I was like, no matter what, he's gonna lose time, and if I have a penalty, I'm screwed. But he was just finding, you know, a pretty good pace on those old hards, and this, you know, from this point going on, he doesn't get any more track limit penalties. with about 4 laps to go, I mean, it feels like we're only getting about half a second on him a lap. And I mean, I take this turn so poorly and still actually gain some time on him. Lose it right away, but I definitely was making more mistakes than I should have. I mean, if I hit every turn how I was in the first stint, I probably would have him down to about 8 seconds, but it is what it is. With 3 laps to go, we've only taken down the margin to 9.5 seconds, which is not good. We don't have enough time to really gain all that time back from him. I mean, you can see he's making mistakes, but so am I. I'm trying my absolute hardest to catch up, and you're going to start seeing at this point his tires are wearing away. He's losing time, and now I'm getting excited. But there's just not enough race left to do anything. And that's kind of the beauty of the medium length races. When you do the long races, like the 30-minute long races, there is a meta. You have to pit no matter what. You more or less have to use mediums no matter what. You can't just do hards. You can go hard softs, but maybe other people have gotten it to work, but I always end up doing either mediums to hards or, you know, something like that. I just like the variety of strategy. Although I do despise people that just put on the hard tires and, you know, don't pit and don't race clean. There's been a couple of times where I've seen people put on the hards and rack up about 8 seconds of penalties, but because they don't pit. I mean, yeah, they're losing quite a few positions, but like it's just they're feeling good about a result that they shouldn't feel good about. So I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. 2 laps left, and the time gap isn't coming down much more, which is frustrating because I'm looking behind me and I've built quite a big gap to the guy behind me. So I'm not sure where he was finding this time. I'll be curious to see what his fastest lap was because I'm at 1:14. I would be shocked if he was faster than me. But you can see right here, his tires are going away. He's dropping like crazy. And my only hope is for him to continue losing time, and if I'm really lucky, he gets slapped with a penalty. He already has 1.2, but if he could get like another 0.2 to, you know, half a second, we don't even have to work that hard. We just got to get behind him. And it's looking pretty promising right now. I mean, 6-7 seconds behind. You could argue it should be possible to get right up to the back of him and overtake him, but we're gonna try our best here. This is our last lap now, and it's basically gonna be treated as a qualifying lap. We don't have softs on, but like we got no fuel. We should fly, and we know the guy in front is struggling. He's at 6 seconds, so we have to make 6 seconds. Technically 5 if you take the penalty off. Only 5 seconds have to be made here in order to take his position from him, and it's looking so promising. But you know, it's not easy. Make a mistake there, and then you know, it kind of carries into this turn. I don't know what I did. I must have turned too hard or too quickly because it just kind of snapped on me there. We're down to 4.7 seconds, so I mean, ideally we're still in a pretty good spot, but only got about 40 seconds left of race left to make up 3 seconds. That's quite a bit. It's like right in our reach now. 3.5 seconds and dropping like crazy. It feels like we should easily be able to get this, but it's just he is holding on for dear life and not making any mistakes. That gap is dropping like crazy. I mean, we've cut down about 4 seconds alone in this lap, and we're right there. All we need is a couple tenths and it's ours, and he takes this line so well. I was hoping that he'd lose some pace or something, but he is able to carry over the finish line and just barely beat us, unfortunately, but it was a good race. If you made it this far, I want to say thank you for watching and consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.